okay, so I'm 29 years old, right?
Right.
And I feel every bit of 29 years old when I wake up every morning, right?
Yeah, it doesn't get easier.
And I mean, it doesn't help that I said that after taking a sip of cognac, but whatever, right? I'll stop drinking after 30. I'm 29 years old. Me and you are about the same age. And without being the old guys that stand on the porch, we came up in an era where entertainment and social media were not one and the same. Nowadays, social media is a form of entertainment. With that being said, I feel like Adult Swim was almost kind of inside. It was an inside thing, right? It was something that was there, but you had to look for it in order to find it. There were no advertisements for Adult Swim at all, right? For us, being in that age demographic, I'm gonna say from like 13 to 18 years old, staying up late when you wasn't supposed to stay up late, watching TV shows like Family Guy, which was showing reruns, watching shows like Futurama that were in a reruns because these were shows that were already on TV that were canceled that were recycled for Adult Swim. Family Guy and Futurama were the shows that you watched during that first hour of Adult Swim so that they could get you to watch the original programming from that 11 o'clock hour to midnight, right? Oh man, I gotta cook, bro. My bad.
Nah, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, like, for us, I feel like Adult Swim was kind of that thing that we kind of had to go out of our way to get that type of content because it wasn't really available anywhere else. The Simpsons was a mainstream TV show that was a part of pop culture around 2003, 2004. Everybody watched The Simpsons during that time. South Park had already been on TV for almost 8, 9 years during that time, if I'm not mistaken. They already had a movie that came out in theaters by that time. Plus, I was never a fan of South Park in the first place, right?
Okay. Okay.
But for us, I feel like Adult Swim was our thing. You know what I mean?
Right. It was like inside baseball.
Exactly. It was our thing. We were by staying up later, we were able to watch shows like oh my god, I got to do a roll call here real quick,
Go
man.
ahead, man. Let them know what it
Um,
was.
for okay, for those and sidebar, like for those of y'all that never seen the movie Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee, there's a part of it where Samuel Jackson is a local neighborhood DJ, and he does a roll call of like great black artists and musicians, right? So I'm just gonna do a roll call of the shows on Adult Swim that me and my cousins kind of grew up on, right? It was shows like it was shows like Family Guy during that first run before it got renewed and brought back to Fox. It was
Mm.
shows like Futurama. They got their reruns on Adult Swim before it got renewed and the movies came out and then more seasons came out on Comedy Central. It was shows like Space Ghost Coast to Coast,
Ooh.
right? That was
Yeah.
that was oh my god. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It was shows like C Lab 2021.
Oh my goodness. Keep cooking.
it
Keep
was
cooking.
shows it was shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force that
Oh hell
you
no.
see what I'm saying? It was
Uh-huh.
shows like the I'm not even gonna speak on the Venture Brothers right now because we're gonna get into that later. But it was shows like the Venture Brothers. It was shows like Lupin Third, even
Mm.
though that was a dubbed animated, it came out later on. It was shows like that that laid the groundwork for it was shows like the Boondocks that literally broke ground on what animation could do in terms of critical acclaim and being entertaining and make people think about what it is that they're watching in terms of content. It was shows like that that were on Adult Swim that we
Yes,
were
sir.
staying up that we were staying up late to watch in order to have something to talk about, right? In order to
Right.
have these insider references on Monday morning at school, even though the Boondocks was airing new episodes on Sunday night, right? It
And
was
it
it
was
was
it was
the
worth it.
absolutely it was worth it. It was this type of content that kind of predated social media in a way to where it made you think about things without having to read think pieces.
Right. I
That's
saw somewhere, not to interrupt, but I saw somewhere on
no,
the
go ahead.
internet where before the age of memes, we all just quoted Dave Chappelle and the Boondocks in school, and now that was our memes. We just literally repeated everything they
Absolutely.
said.
And I agree with you 100%. And the Chappelle show ran parallel to everything that I'm talking about right now, right? It was this sweet spot. It was really this sweet spot of content in between the internet and television that satisfy us in a way to where we got what we needed without us having to look too hard for it, right? But
Right.
also the fact that we had to look for it made it more gratifying when we found it. I remember Adult Swim before they went to the black background and the white lettering that they still do now on Adult Swim. You know what I'm saying? I remember Adult Swim when they literally ran clips of people in swimming pools.
I remember
Right?
those commercials, man. Yeah.
Right.
Get out
Like
the pool. It's time. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
because it was a reference. Adult Swim was literally a reference to meaning that this is when your kids are asleep and you're still up, right? In 2020, with the streaming era being what it is, Adult Swim has kind of been diminished, and HBO Max is kind of trying to pick up the slack and fill that void for Adult Swim because people who are our age at this point in time, they grew up with Adult Swim, we got jobs now. We may or may not have that disposable income to be able to pay that $15 a month to fill that void that we had when we were growing up, going through high school, community college, and whatever. And like I said, I really feel like we were able to come up in this golden era in between everything being exposed because now there's no such thing as an inside joke. Everybody is in
Damn.
on the every
Oh, keep cooking, man. You want some
right.
shit?
Because the thing is, we're all in on it now. Everybody is in on the joke because information is so readily available, right?
Right.
Whereas before, like now, man,
Like, bro, how many times were you approaching high school? What did the five fingers say to the face? You know what I'm saying?
exactly, right? Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And it's almost now, and that was a parody at that time, right? But
Right.
now, 14 years later, the parody is of the parody. To where now, if you live through that at that time, you don't even enjoy it as much as you did before because you've heard it so many times to where
Yeah.
it's not even fun anymore to be in on the joke because you were in on it before everybody else was able to be in on it. The psychology behind a lot of these things is insane if you really break, but that's not what we're here to do right now. Back to Adult Swim. So, off of the intro that I gave you, it might be a little bit long-winded. What are some of your fondest memories of Adult Swim and that type of content?
Man, Adult Swim was literally like you said, the truth. Back then, we didn't have social media. We couldn't watch things on demand. And let's be honest, we didn't have the disposable income to buy DVD sets and VHS sets of this material.
No,
So,
we dreamed about it. We hoped
we
that
hope.
one day we would be able to get one of the. We hoped that we could get Aqua Teen Hunger Force on DVD one day. We never knew
Right.
that was going to be on Hulu,
Sure.
season one through whatever.
We didn't even know it was going to be released anyway. on DVD or VHS. So we, like you said, just staying up late to watch the new episode of the Boondocks, to watch Aqua Teen, to get that content that you couldn't get anywhere else. Sure, South Park, Comedy Central did provide a little bit of that with Crank Yankers and South Park, but it didn't quite hit the same way as Adult Swim did. I can tell
Right.
you this as a fan of both channels. Something was special about Adult Swim where it was like inside baseball. It was a little bit more jokes that, hold on.
Nah, bro,
Okay, there you
keep the
go.
sirens
All
in the
right.
background, dog. Just so that the viewer or listener knows that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're getting that fire, man. Oh, dude, like inside jokes, man. Like, okay,
Yep.
it wasn't as mainstream. It wasn't as mainstream. It was right at that level where it was hardly you had to discover it. Like
Yep.
everyone quoted Dave Chappelle, all day or South Park, but Boondocks was something special for us. Or
Oh,
Aqua Teen, Hunger Force with
oh
Meatwad, you
my
know what I'm saying?
God.
And Fry and Shake. Well, did you hear what Shake said last night? That shit was like ridiculous. And some episodes was like random, yo. Like some didn't make you laugh at all, but you were still
Right.
entertained. And then
Yes.
others was like you were just falling of laughter, yo, and you would start quoting Shake the next day in school or
Yes.
whatever. Right, dude. It was kind of like basically let's do Toonami, but for adults and for American cartoons and for original production of certain shows. So to a generation before, Harvey Birdman was a superhero, but to us, he was a freaking lawyer. Space Ghost was a television host to us, but to many, he was a legit superhero. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at Space Ghost now, like, why is he fighting crime? Why is he fighting superheroes? He should be behind the damn podium interviewing Jim Carrey about the mask.
And not only that, but he's interviewing Jim Carrey, but not really interviewing Jim Carrey. He's
Right.
he's attempting to interview Jim Carrey, but being distracted by Zorak and Brack. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Exactly. Exactly.
and the thing is, like that type of humor, I feel like that type of humor, period. Right? The word to use for that is non sequitur, right? That type of non sequitur humor predated everything that you see on social media in these memes. You see what
Woo!
I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. What you get
But
on YouTube now, you got on Adult Swim.
right, but the difference is that you had to catch it in real time. I like what you said before about Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because there would literally be episodes where, and you know, to their credit, they'd only be 15-minute episodes, right?
Right. Right.
But to their credit, there's some episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like you said, that would just be so random to where you really might not even know what's going on in that one episode, but you had to watch it because you knew that you had to see it. You didn't want to miss it.
Right. Exactly, man.
You knew
Exactly.
that you had to see it because the episode you seen last night had you laughing your ass off to where you stayed up till 11:15 to watch it. But not only that, but shit, you stayed up till 3:15 to watch the rerun.
Woo! And next day you'd
Right?
be dragging your ass to school, but you were happy that you saw that episode. It was
Right.
worth it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
even if you wasn't in school, like during the summertime, dog, like we was pulling all nighters just to watch Adult Swim off of the strength of them type of TV shows. Like
True that, man.
I'm convinced right now that Family Guy would have never had the resurgence that they had if it wasn't for Adult Swim. Like, in my opinion, we talked about this over text. In my opinion, Futurama did more for me than what The Simpsons did, even though The Simpsons has been on for almost 32 years, right?
Right.
But the resurgence of Futurama would have never happened if there were no reruns on Adult Swim.
Adult Swim gave a lot of second life to certain properties, man. It really did.
Right. But like, man, I'm glad that you really touched on Birdman and Space Ghost, because for us, you know, I relate to that. I remember staying up late at night watching Cartoon Network and seeing them showing reruns of Birdman, you know what I'm saying, getting his ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Getting his ass whooped and thrown into a cave and then breaking out of the cave and getting sunlight and being able to fight the villain, right?
Right, right.
I
Oh
remember
man.
I remember reruns of Ghost, of Space Ghost, you know what I'm saying, really fighting Zorak and Brack as serious villains in his own cartoon series. You know what I mean? And then seeing him on Coast to Coast, being a fucking talk show host, dog, with Brack and Zorak and Moltar as his prisoners. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Dude, I don't think they can. The times have changed. They can never replicate that on
No,
television, and it lives on through certain different outlets in certain regards. But it was just the times, man.